Hey guys. So we got off of the last Virgo reading, and like honestly, the spirit guides were still talking. Like they were not stopping talking. So I was like, okay, maybe there are a few more messages here. And I am getting a few more messages here. So definitely first of all go check out that first part if you feel guided. If you feel guided. Um, it's just interesting the way these energies are even moving through in general for you, Virgo, because there is obviously an avoidant energy. And so let me get the link really quickly, though, for the part one of this video. What I was getting, though, I was meditating again, and I'm seeing that, there may be some kind of experience that this person needs to go through. Yes, like before, and we've heard of these experiences. Like, there's something of the soul shock. Okay, so maybe there, because I see some maybe are asking, like, if you are thinking about the timing here in terms of reuniting. I feel that this person needs to go through something really shocking or intense before they can really, really, truly circle back. Okay. So, and I'm getting from spirit, this is not something that like you can do yet again. And I was also getting really strongly that right now they're currently seeing you as a competitor. And so showing up and wanting to show up to this person in a way to so-called prove yourself, it's not about that. And you're not doing anything wrong already, technically. Okay. So, but they may project that energy on you. Okay. So you showing up is going to be more aggravating almost. Okay. And what I'm also getting, what I'm also hearing is that it's not going to be accurate. Yeah, like when someone's just already irritated or triggered and you want to have a certain conversation with that person, it's like, yeah, should you show up at that time, it's just not going to be conducive because they're already like they may project onto you their frustration, if that makes sense. So spirit is saying maybe, right now, if it's not working out with this person, maybe just step back, trying not to be, the diffuser. Oh, interesting. Yeah, because that's something karmic. I get that. So let's get any other further messages here. I see that, yeah, the Six of Cups upright, Devil in reverse. Some of you, this person may have a lot of Earth in their chart in general. Another Six of Pentacles. Yeah, there's just something controversial. There's something controversial, but it's not you. So, and I think that part of the issue is that maybe somebody here is feeling like it's them. Like, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Like, why are they not, interested in me? Or why are they not coming forward? Or why is this not manifesting? Why is this not happening? I don't think that that's the case. I'm going to just be really honest here. Like, there's a broader reason even for why it is that this is happening. And, this is what we're talking about earlier in the part one is like, if they are treating you in any kind of way, sometimes, it's the projected energy that you're picking up on. Okay. That maybe they feel bad that they're not able to show up for you. Yeah. We were talking about this part one. And so you feeling this sort of energy of like, even, longing or friction is not like, you're not involved in that conversation. And actually I invite you to reflect on that and say, hey, the times where I felt very frustrated or irritated or annoyed, was I actually even like actually talking to this person, or was it something that I was picking up on? Now, with the Death card in reverse and the Four Cups of right, again, I get this very competitive energy. I feel like there are a lot of things that we haven't said, a lot of things that need to be said with the Ace of Swords of Right Mirror and the Death card in reverse. Again, that Emperor is coming through upright. For somebody, this person's going to have to release something. Yes. And I'm getting like, well, yeah, and it's their karma. So for some of you, I'm going to just lay it out, spell it out. You are in relation to this person in some way. You may be separated and you're still feeling their energy really, 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 really strongly. Now, you feeling the yearning for this person, you feeling this like, oh my God, like I need to go back, or we need to relate. Okay. We need to keep relating in some way. That is you picking up on their silent, okay, conversation. And the title literally of your weekly reading, the weekly bonus, which by the way, you guys, let me know how you like the weekly series. But yeah, the title was something like Your Silent Stalker or something. Let's clear it. Anyways, they've been silent. Yeah. And so I don't think this is a connection of like, oh, it was like my boo from 2002, and we haven't talked since like then, but I'm still kind of thinking about him. No. This is like someone I feel who you really have like even really intense conversations with on Astral still, maybe self dreams of them. I don't think this is someone who just like kind of broke your heart kind of vibe. I think this is something that you're really wondering, like, why the fuck am I even still thinking about this person? This is for Sam. Let's clear. I'm gonna get into the chat here for this one. How many of you feel that way? Like, this is like, it's like that. Like that you're really wondering, like, why am I thinking of this person? How many of you? Mother of Wands in reverse, Three of Wands in reverse. And sometimes it even creeps you out. For some of you, I feel like you get creeped out by this. It's like you start to think like, what is going on? It's like, what the hell? Okay, yeah, there's something strange. Like, there's something strange. Like, you maybe even like, it's reminding the Scorpio reading, like at a certain point you're thinking, is he doing voodoo? Like, yeah, no, really. I feel like some of you, because there's a moment where you're even like, Mimi says, why am I still in this act? Yeah, it's like something's not adding up. Like, usually, I wouldn't be thinking about this person for that long. Like, why is he like reappearing? Also, like in my nightmares, I don't know what. Maybe you feel like you cannot place the experience. It's like, well, either you're going to be a daydream or you're going to be a nightmare. I'm hearing that. Okay, I don't know what. Like, yeah, no, this is irritating you. It's frustrating you. It's like, why is it going like this way? I think there's an aspect of the connection that you're not quite understanding, and that's because, okay, we got to draw it out. Like, oh, shoot, the iPad died. Well, this person is not mirroring really what they're feeling with you in a real way. So what you're seeing, the way you're in your human 3D, you're perceiving of this connection is way different than what's going on an energetic level. Like, they are really, I'm going to tell you the honest truth. They are the ones thinking about you. Mm-hmm. They're the ones who are pining after you. They're the ones who are scared of losing you. They're the ones who are freaked out. Okay. Yeah. Now, do they show that? No, they sure as hell don't show that. With the Devil in reverse, mirroring again the Mother of Wands in reverse, guys. They're so afraid of losing something here. Yeah. But it's funny because I see the Devil's in the conversation with something else here. Six of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. This is something karmic. This is their history, their lineage. Seven of Cups in reverse, Eight of Cups in reverse. I feel that they're already in the process of releasing whatever that is. And they realize this is not real. Okay. It's not real with that Six of Pentacles in reverse, Six of Cups upright. The Devil's in reverse, mirroring the Mother of Wands in reverse, the Emperor upright in between the two. He's looking at the Mother of Wands. Like, listen, he can even be in fucking reverse and he's still looking at her. But he's looking through the position of the Emperor. Okay. Upright, which is very funny. Because it's almost like he told her, hey, like, well, let's clear it. He's not ready. I hear that. He's really not ready. Like, how can we have the Devil in reverse and the Emperor upright and then the Mother of Wands in reverse? That's like kind of saying like the Mother of Wands is the devil. Okay, well, let's clear it. He's seeing this as antagonism. We were saying that. It's competitive. It's like either like it's me or her. It's like that's the ancient philosophical trend that needs to be clarified. I'm hearing it like this. Ancient philosophical trend. Interesting. Maybe, yeah, no. This is the past life energy, guys. Let's clear it. So, yeah, and it has to do with the archetype of the masculine and the feminine. We keep having the Father of Swords with the Ace of Swords. Now, they really feel, they secretly, privately want to be on top kind of vibe. They want, when in their mind, this is not a logical thought. In their mind, not in their heart space, in their mind, okay? Logical human mind, the piece of machinery. They feel like when I come back, okay, and it doesn't have to be the mind is a negative thing, right? But it can, yeah. I mean, if it's not integrated within the other chakras, then it can be shadow energy, right? The air element, but overthinking and such things. But placing too much of an emphasis, okay, on logical matters. But they're thinking, when I come back, I want to be like in the power seat. It's like, but this is, yeah. So this is ironic because yet again, this is the realization is that in the meantime, they're losing you. And they realize that when they are acting in this way, they're gonna lose the opportunity to be with you. Period. Like this is ironic. It's an irony, and then it becomes really obvious, really clear that their ego is present and it's not them. And then they realize that you're not in love with their ego. So of course that doesn't feel right. Yeah, let's clear it. No. This is the ego death, guys. This is what they need to experience, though. And that's why Spirit is saying, step out, step out. The point is for you to step back. You don't have to be coaching this person through their way to themselves. Yeah, I mean, you're not their story. I hear that as well. Interesting. And that's where they are really actually getting kind of codependent on you, but in an indirect way. And that's why I'm saying this person is like very like obsessed with you. But because you're like the moth to the flame. Well, you're the flame and they're like the moth. Well, they feel like it's awkward, okay? Because they don't feel it's balanced, but that's their illusion because it's their ego, right? Like why they're triggered by the fact that they're attracted to you. This is what I'm trying to make clear. They're triggered. It's like, she's like the flame. Why am I not the flame? It's like, but this is funny. Okay, because they see you as the flame because they see you as very, they feel, they're trying to figure out what this attraction is. Bro needs to step out of his head. The High Priest is in reverse and the Mother Cups are bright. Yeah, because it's not, it's not like anything. And it's not like, I feel like it's not like you came through and were like, oh, I am like the flame. It's like they're just automatically interpreting that. So with the Moon in reverse and the Star in reverse and the Lovers in reverse and the Four Swords of bright, it's funny because they're getting really, really nervous here. Yeah, the Five of Cups upright. They're losing a sense of bearing here. They don't know, really, the things that in the past were making them happy are no longer making them happy. They're realizing that certain crutches, but I see they're now depending on you, which is very interesting. And that's maybe what you're feeling indirectly. Now, I feel like, honestly, this is a matter of tough love, baby. The farther you move back, the more you say, you know what, I'm going to step back until you really, truly show up, okay, with me. This is what's going to help them because the Devil's in reverse. Like, it's like if somebody can just stalk somebody through the window, okay, they're never going to show up. Okay, if all they can do is just, if they know, no, let's think about it, guys. Like, I'm going to tell her, like, I'm not interested, but, like, I'm just going to snoop on her life. It's like they're literally, like, staring through the window at somebody. It's like, if they know that they can have that, like, let's clear it. No, if they know that they have that outlet to still be with you on some plane, that's where we got a problem. So Spirit is saying, don't be afraid to step back and to literally release the conversation. Some of you have done that. Oh, Father of Wands in reverse and the Mother of Wands in reverse. Now, here's the thing. They're feeling very sketchy. 1. 2, they're feeling really unhappy, physically especially. They're even getting, guys, they're getting triggered by themselves in the connection. You need to see the way these cards are coming through. You just need to see it. Yeah, they're they're getting very paranoid. It's like they're remembering who they were with you. They remember your connection together, and they're literally freaking the fuck out. They're like, oh my God, like, what if that memory is lost? It's like Mother of Cups upright. They're trying to like collect memories as marbles, guys, and compartmentalize them, which is another point. You have to acknowledge what you're feeling. You have to allow that energy to continue, right? To release it. Let's clear it. The High Priestess and the Mother of Cups. They're being very protective over. I see a Four of Pentacles kind of energy when it comes to the energy space of emotion, which is very funny. I mean, we're not rationing our emotions off. This person possibly has a lot of earth in their chart yet again, and a lot of air. Now let's clear it. Now, now here's the irony, right? Almost says, can you cut the twin flame cord? So, this is not too far off from the questions like when we're asking, how do we cut cords? How do we, clear cords? We have to understand the cord, and nothing is random. So should somebody come in, sure, is it more convenient not to deal with a super karmic connection? Karmic doesn't mean not twin flame necessarily, right? A really strong connection, okay, may indicate that you have a lot going on here on planet Earth, hence why you're both here. But here's the thing, is like, there's a reason for it, okay? There's a reason for that. If you are meeting someone who's triggering you so far in, listen, if it wasn't a really important connection, you would have forgotten about it, right? Let's think about it. Why is the really strong soulmate connection so irritating sometimes, or so frustrating? Because it's like you're literally like trying to forget this person, right? You're thinking, well, I mean, by now I would have forgotten about the piece of toast already. Oh, God darn it! Like, yeah, and he would have hardened up as well, and it would have been impossible to eat him. I'm here like this. Okay, but no, but this piece of toast, this one piece of toast, won't go bad. I'm hearing that as well. It's like, yeah. So let's clear. So we cannot blame the karma. Let's clear it and ground in the sacral chakra. we cannot blame, okay? We cannot blame the karma, okay? There's such a reason, okay, for that. And everything is meaningful. That's like saying, I just don't want to do the proof to the math problem. Okay. I just don't. And so it's kind of like, saying, well, I just don't want the mountain to be there because like the climbing part is the hard part. There's a reason. Everything is relevant. Everything is meaningful. Whoever shows up in your life and in whatever way, there's a reason for that. So definitely check out the part 1 of this video. Okay, because it really goes into that. And but the trouble here is, let's clear. So now, but this person is very in love. The issue is that, honestly, I mean, they're more in love than you are. I'll be quite honest. Like at a certain point, maybe, they're afraid of this. And we talked about this in part 1. For some reason, Spirit wanted us to do, again, another part. So the devil here with the Chariot and the Mother of Wands, it's like, there's a lot of love, but they're very sheltered in that space. They're sheltering themselves. Okay. And Sober Girl says, I've done so much healing. And it's like, truly, I mean, if you're feeling like you're absolutely not growing from this connection, I doubt that is. And you're always growing from every storyline. But I would really, if it is truly a very strong soulmate or twin flame connection, so-called, okay, you're going to be really growing too. Okay. It's not easy necessarily, but this is part of the conversation. So it's so much better to be able to transcend, okay, those deeper need frequencies, right? I think part of the issue or part of the conversation is that you've been trying to understand this person's behavior, trying to understand where they are at in their life. And you guys maybe have a really strong mirroring connection, but then you also have things that are very different. And I'm not saying that this is necessarily like a twin flame, but you take it as you will. There's a lot that you just like, it's the kind of inverted energy. You don't really understand it at all. It's like, I don't get why that person would act like that, but then do that. I don't understand, why. And again, I'm talking about someone here who you're most likely having dreams about this person. They're most likely bumping into them. You're most likely having visions of them. You feel in some way you cannot release them. There's something of a very intense emotion as well that you feel for this person, something you haven't felt like for anyone else. I keep seeing something related to school or something related to academics or academia. Now, I'm not talking about someone who, is just kind of like a player and you're wondering why they've like, but maybe to take it as you will, but they're the Tower and the Emperor. It's like, you don't understand who this person is. It's because they don't understand who they are. And they're showing you like these really weird storylines as you see it, and you're just not able to piece them together, but then you would have forgotten about this person by now. So I'd like to pull a little further on that. This is part of your soul contract. Like, this is necessary as well for you, because it's funny, like, why we would, the question is, nobody's inherently bad, right? It's to the point where we allow that person in so far into our life that we bring them a sense of meaning we bring them the sense of meaning, okay? And where there's imbalance, specifically with Neptune energy, Father of Cups, Son of Swords. And that's part of the lesson. Ask anybody who has literally went, through the dark night of the soul, right? It's like, you really, really, what you're asking is, what meaning does this person have in my life? And it's not about who they are independently. It's about who you are in relation to what they present to you, which is the whole crux of the twin flame. It's like, it's never about that person, right? There are aspects here of you with you. And so, and you have to weigh those things as just as importantly. So there are moments, we have to go through those moments where it's really uncomfortable and gets really scary even. Because why? Because for some of you literally, and it's not that it's bad, it's just, that's part of it. Like, you went so far deep in with this person and you both possibly feel really scared. You both retreat. What we see, though, the semantics of the third dimension are not what is going on an energetic plane. So the important thing is to detach your ego from what's going on in the 3D, because you're way too focused on that person's behavior in 3D. Then at that point, if you're feeling neglected, especially, you're never alone. You're never neglected. You're never also not empowered. The only time that we usually feel empowered is when we allow ourselves to bring that conversation up. It's our choice to interpret someone's behavior, right, in a certain way. And so let's say that somebody's really like mean to you, or they're saying mean stuff. You can interpret that in a number of ways. Okay, they're saying that I'm like not, I'm here and I'm ugly, whatever it is. Even let's say they come in and say that, you can interpret it as like, oh, they think I'm ugly, or you can interpret it as that person's projecting their energy onto this conversation, or they're feeling very insecure, or they maybe had a really bad day and they're projecting their energy. They don't know how to handle their karma out here as well, or their conversation with another person. So there's a moment where you have to look at yourself and say, what is my role in this? Why do I allow their story, okay, to be my own, right? And so let's clear it. If we're really getting it down to it, I mean, there's so many reasons for that, especially if this is a very strong soulmate. You're obviously going to be very empathic to them. That's where it's not a bad thing, but that's where your Neptune energy is in check as well. And you really got to look at your Neptune energy. So, because sympathy doesn't mean empathy, right? I mean, if like the doctor who was, doing surgery on their patients, okay, was so absorbed in what they were experiencing that they literally could not handle the surgery, then they could not be the doctor, right? So there's a point where it's not helpful to take on someone's energy. I mean, it really should never become your story. So with the Justice card, the Three of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles and Ten of Pentacles, it takes some bravery to say, on an energetic level, and that's where energy work and energy boundaries are so important, because you have to be able to identify what energy is really yours and what the reason is for why, somebody would also be behaving in a way not to explain their behavior, but to say, well, I see this person from the outside in is not really in a state of mind to be able to show up in a transparent manner with themselves. It's always them with themselves, and it's always you. So whether or not you're feeling empowered by this connection, or whether or not you're feeling that somebody's behavior is in alignment or not, okay, and making you feel empowered or not, it's always about the respective parties. But there is a reflection. There's a reason why you're reflecting each other at that point. But it's about also really saying, I'm not going to depend on this person to tell me who I am to myself. Right? Okay. That's really, really like super important here because for some of you, the catch is that it doesn't mean that they're not important, but it means that they still have homework to do. And that's their homework, right? So like everyone is their own student. So with the Five of Pentacles and the Three of Cups, Three of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, and the Justice card, there's something that you have to be brave with. Yes. And sometimes it's hard because, I'm seeing a guy running here. It's like, the behavior will change, right? If we shift the energy field, what we see in 3D changes. So should you change the way you are participating in this connection on an energetic level, then in 3D it will change. That doesn't really change anything though. It's just a matter of the chemical reactions, right? If you are literally going to come back into your flow state, that's going to change the dynamic with this person. That'll always be the case. Yes, I mean, but that doesn't mean, so how do we say this? Because I think that is throwing you off at times. So first of all, if this is triggering to you, you should definitely ground your energy. The number one thing, if you're in any kind of really strong, if you're still feeling triggered by soulmates and twin flames, the number one thing, ground your energy field, okay? Have boundaries. Look at how it is that you are participating in your own story just as much as you are being receptive to the storyline that you have going with others. Nobody will ever become your story. And that's also really important. Just because you have a very strong connection with somebody doesn't mean that that's the reason why you're here, okay? On this plane at this time. So if we're talking about ascension, we're first of all looking at energy. We're not looking at the connection in 3D and saying, yay, we're together. It's a matter of how you're actually feeling. If you're feeling empowered, if you're feeling, gratified as an independent individual, that's the most important thing, whether or not you're in a relationship or not. Right. So, and that's where, society gets it all kind of wrong and twisted. And that's why people get into connections and are not happy. And then, because it's not about just being in a connection. It's really not about that. And if this person has actually disappeared, consider yourself fucking lucky. Okay. Yeah. Because that's telling you that like your checkmate system on an energetic level. Yeah. I mean, they're not ready. So they're not showing up. Okay. So yeah. And so it's kind of like, you just can't, you don't want to be in a connection with someone who's not ready. Okay. So this is a good thing. I think that this is part of the healing and the growth. It is really challenging. Okay. It is very, very challenging, but it is necessary. And so it helps because it also really echoes, okay, the question of how it is that you see this connection, right? I mean, no, it's super important. So yeah. But let's go. Yeah, like what is the role, right? The Ace of Pentacles in reverse on the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. For some of you here, Eight of Pentacles, right? Yeah. How many of you are currently in the dark night of the soul as you feel it? Judgment upright on the Eight of Pentacles upright. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I wish I could draw this out. So the point is, right, you will always mirror. Let's say you have a very strong connection. You can just assume that, well, you will always be mirroring. Okay. This person, you're mirroring your whole reality. Let's get honest, right? But there's a really strong mirroring. So it's not what it is. It's the mirror. It's the reflection. And we need to actually talk about this. Let me quickly. I wanted to post this video again. Actually, it's this video will change your view on twin flames. It's something I recorded. Like here we go. Yeah, this is the one. Definitely. If you're like in the dark end of the soul energy, check out this. This video. I'm gonna put the link in the chat box. I posted that like about a few months ago. The whole deal is it's kind of like saying, that you're getting upset that you're wearing a red sweater, you're walking in front of the mirror and you see that you're wearing a red sweater. It's like, if you don't like the red sweater, right? I mean, really, like what would you do? You would check in the mirror, you'd be like, I don't like that red sweater, and you'd go and change the red sweater, maybe to a green one or a blue one. You take it as you will. The mirror reflection, the mirror is not the problem. Okay. The person is not, the relationship is not the problem. But you can feel taunted by this connection. Okay. You can feel super taunted by this connection when your boundaries are not in check, when you don't feel like you have the power to change how you show up in that reflective space. Let's clear it. When you feel like you're at the mercy of what you're wearing, so-called, okay, metaphorically. Well, yeah. So you have the power to turn the pace around as well of how you are feeling that you're interacting in the connection. Interesting. How you feeling you're interacting in the connection. Okay, let's clear it. So now it's kind of like a potato sack race energy. It's really interesting that spirit wants us to go so far into this, but it's like a potato sack energy. Okay, it's like you're on stage with someone, you need to do the potato sack race. Okay, eight of wands coming through. Okay, it's like the irritating part is when you're so focused on this person. Let's say it like this. Like, let's say you're literally in a potato sack race and you both have one foot, right, in the potato sack. Now you have to get to where you need to go, right? There's nothing here that says you're more important or they're more important. You both have one leg in the conversation, right? So, literally, so one's coming through. But what can really slow down the conversation is you guys having a conversation about what is going on in the potato sack. Okay, it's like if you're going to be spending your time like literally like complaining about what is going on actually, rather than trying to release the karma, I'm hearing that as well, and continue on your way, it's going to get slowed down. Like, and honestly, you may not even have anything going on, but the fact that you're just trying to understand it and talk about it and logically interpret it is going to be the issue, right? It's going to be the factor that is going to take the preliminary round stage. Okay, back to the precipice of the connection. I don't know what it's like. You feel very irritated, let me tell you, because it's on a broader, let's get real here. Okay, it's really with you. Okay, like you're getting irritated with your higher self because you're getting bogged the fuck down, and your spirit knows when you're not, when you're stagnating. Your spirit knows. Yeah, it's a metaphor. Your spirit knows when you're not in the flow state. Okay, when your ego is too far in the range. Okay, of motion. Yeah, when you're operating too much with your ego, which is who's that other person? What do they mean to me? What's, you know, that's the ego. Let's clear it in the heart chakra. And so you know with yourself that this is frustrating you. Okay. So the way that you're positioning, but this is not your fault. I mean, this is the human condition, and this is also obviously the way the society has been preaching relationships until this point in some ways. Let's clear it. The whole like, yeah, two people coming together, you know, it's like, no, we're all reflecting. Okay. So, and it's energy. So Four of Wands, and this is why this connection is so irritating, because it rides on the basis of energy, and it's the truest checkmate to you. And that's why, you know, when we're asking questions like, can we like sever the cords of the twin flame? It's like saying, I don't want to be true and honest with myself. I don't want to confront that this is the most transparent connection that I may have. And that goes again for very strong soulmates. Let's clear it. Let's clear the energy in the crown chakra on the left side. Saying you want to release it is like saying that you want to release history. Do we erase history? No, but we can understand it. We can say, right? It's like, that's literally like saying, it's way too triggering. That one note in the song, I got to take it out. It's like, that wouldn't be the song then, right? So we cannot like erase or delete, or even if we were to do that, like the Akashic records exist and it's all there. So we cannot like erase or delete, right? But we can understand, and we can say, well, why does that person piss me off so much? Trust me, you don't want to be in this avoidance state, right? Of like, that's it, I like deleted this person. It's like, you're still going to have this fear because you're avoiding it, right? In the back of your mind, okay, that they're still there, and like, I couldn't handle it, so I had to let them go, right? This is not the point. The point is to really push through, and it is like a birth, right? I mean, really, like any child would say, you know, after birth, the birthing process is so hard, but like, would they in retrospect have chosen to remain in the womb? Like, it's too hard, I just don't want to like go through, you know, really. So this is the crisis moment of the ego. It's not you though. So the thing that makes us feel uncomfortable, this whole process, when we meet a really strong soulmate energy, is that the reflection is so strong, okay, that it feels uncomfortable to the human eyes, okay, because it is so clear of a reflection. So, you know, some teachers, they will test us on things that we're not, we've all had those moments with that one teacher who really, really gave us like the really important grade that changed our life, right? And we realized, I need to change that about my life. Oh, fuck. So, you know, be grateful for these messages as well that come through, but just realize that it's your ego. Your ego is also participating in the space, but it's your soul and your spirit that can determine how it is you wish to interpret what comes up, and what your ego is also going to make of this conversation, because you have to be in control. The soul needs to be in control of what the ego is observing. Okay. Yes. It's like a child. Let's clear it. So until then, you're going to feel helpless, and you're going to feel really ungrounded, and you're going to feel like this person's life is defining the way that you're living yours, and that it's determining your value. And then you're going to just really feel really insecure, and it's not going to be a good vibe. So not because it's not helpful ultimately, but because it's just going to feel uncomfortable, right? Because we're way too at the mercy of the ego's energy. So, and the way that the ego is again interpreting. So, I think that it's really important to get out of the mind as well and into the flow state energetically, to remember that this is a matter of energy. This is not, because again, let's go back to it. If somebody were just like, oh, you're not hot, I don't want to be with you, bye, and like there was no connection, you'd forget about that person. You'd cry for a few days and you'd be over it, right? This is a matter of energy. Okay. Hence why this has been going on in such a way. So you have to give like to like, right? It's like, what is it? They say you have to treat the disease with the antidote. What is it? You have to give to this connection what it is that it is, you know, bringing up, and it has to be honest, right? I mean, and it is really to saying like you want to clear the twin flame connection is like saying, well, I don't really want to you know, to ascend in a way. I mean, it's not easy. Trust me. I went through the dark night of the soul. This is why I'm on this channel right now. This is why I'm on this channel right now, right? Because of the growth and transformation that it took, right? And that is never fucking easy. but it's not because it is anything. It's because of how we perceive it. And that determines, right, with the ego, how far, if it's like the balance. If we're seeing things and perceiving things mostly through the ego and less through, the perceptive lens of the all-knowingness, right? Maybe the third eye, the less we're meditating, right? The less that we're doing things to raise our vibration, to be able to have that overarching perspective, the more uncomfortable things like this will be. The encounters that we have will be. And so looking back on any really difficult, transformational, ultimately, soulmate connection, we were usually, in retrospect, really fucking grateful for that person. Okay? Yeah, in the moment, it's really uncomfortable. But in retrospect, it's like the thing we needed in our life to be able to get to where we're going to go. So yeah, and I'll just share like my personal story here a little bit. Like I had dark night of the soul. I literally had a really challenging ego death experience, in a way we can say. And prior to that, okay, there were things in my life that I was like gonna really release, and I knew that, okay, when I had this really strong, okay, reflective experience, it was like, it's time to really let go of those things. The conversation was with me and myself. It was not with anyone else, because let's get honest here, we were not born here for that person, right? Otherwise, you'd be like a Siamese twin, right? You're not a Siamese twin. You're born here, you're sovereign being, and we all know that. The frustrating thing is when we feel like, oh my God, I'm feeling like I'm at the mercy of this person, and I don't know why. You do know why, but the ego is too much at the front and center of that conversation. So you know why, but you need to ascend to be able to really understand how it is that you are observing what you know. Oh, interesting. So yeah, this really is a matter of meditation. And if you are in the dark night of the soul, for myself, the number one thing that was helpful to me was meditation. I was doing heavy meditation. I was working with nature heavily. I was like every day going out. I had my grounding all the time, having my hands on the trees. I was practically talking to nature. I was reintegrating into the space, right? Into this storyline that we call Earth, this paradigm of the time-space continuum. The one constant here is nature, we can say, okay? And it is also, right, the chaos. So there's something that, it is really about, you need to release, okay? And it is uncomfortable because it's not them and what they're changing in your life. It's not that they're, oh my God, they were there and they're disappearing. It's you and how you are observing your reality. That's what's changing. They were just the instigator, right? So let's clear it. And definitely go check out, again, this video, guys. This video will change your life on twin flames. I put it again in the chat. Okay, that is literally going to spell it out. Like, if someone's going to give you a letter, right? Let's say they're a mailman or whatever, male woman, mail day, mail it. Are we going to get upset that the mail delivery truck driver literally brought like, I don't know, a bill to us? It's like, it's not them. There's a reason for why that is coming through. So the more we can release the ego of why is this happening, we can go through the whole gamut, and you will until you fully clear that mantra, right? Of even victimization. Like, why is this person like leaving me? Like, am I not good enough? Like all that bullshit, right? You need to clear that out. But so it needs to come up for you to clear that out. So this is all important and meaningful. And that's why you really don't want to go into that space of thinking like, how can I just like X this person out of my life? It's like, it's like saying, listen, I know I got bills to pay, but I just want to like cut off like the delivery man from my my house. It's like, can I just like barricade him off of my property? It's like, that's kind of what it's like, right? So it's the interpretation. It's the interpretation. And that's the trouble of being a human sometimes, because we do have these different mechanisms by which we interpret our reality, our mind, what we literally see. The senses can be very deceiving. Let's clear it. The senses can be extremely deceiving, right? And so yet again, we mentioned this in the first part one, is like, that's when we're not happy and satisfied, when we're overly focused on the senses. Okay, like, for better, for worse. And, let's be honest here, super duper honest, another level further. Like, if you had your so-called like divine counterpart with you, and like you were in this connection, and like it was all like daisies and flower pots, flower pots, or not flowers, okay, but flower pots only. And like And just like, rainbows and unicorns and like all of this stuff I'm hearing in headsets. Okay, so specific. All right. You probably wouldn't really be happy. Okay, let's just really be honest here. Okay, and I will open this up in a very honest way with viewers here. I'm sure you guys can really get honest with this. We've all had relationships where like you guys mentioned in the comments, like, have you had relationships where like technically everything was like, fine. But then you start getting depressed in the connection. It's like, I don't know what's wrong. And we'll get it. Yeah. I mean, even if you're physical and like you're with the person in 3D and like 3D and being with the person and being in a social relationship does not equate to being satisfied. And that's where, yes. So what you're reacquainting yourself with when you encounter really strong soulmates and twin flames is that you're observing how it is that you want really to connect with you and beyond the metrics of the senses in 3D. So it's a gift that something is not manifesting if it's not manifesting. This is what I'm hearing and something that's echoed here. Let's clear it. And so, yeah, let's clear the energy and ground. So, yeah, thank you so much for moderating. Yeah, so, yes. So now, who is this? Omo. Yes, and society will coach you in a very backwards way at times. Okay, there's the whole mantra of you have to be in a relationship, and it goes way back. I mean, this goes way back to the ingraining, right, of society from years ago. Maybe your ancestors, the karmic lineage, where it's like, I mean, let's think about it, guys. Like, literally in society, people were literally bought and sold. I mean, this is horrible, right? We're thinking about people as like filling voids in terms of as a commodity. And so, I mean, to go from that thinking, we have to really purge that space. But even when it comes to, let's think about marriage, like, what is marriage? Why are we signing on lives? I mean, this is kind of also something maybe to think about, right? I mean, yeah. So, but this is a bit of truth. This has been like everyone just gets married. Like, it's just a thing, So we're purging this whole like conversation. Like, you don't have to be with someone to be with somebody. You can be married to someone, but totally like unsatisfied. Right. So we're changing as a society, this whole paradigm of what it means to be in a loving connection. Okay. And again, that's where it's like you can physically be with this person, but you can be really uncomfortable. I know for myself, I've been in partnerships and relationships, and it's like, technically everything is there. It's like, but I'm not happy. And that's where the issues come up. It's like, well, I don't know really what's wrong. And then you start sabotaging the connection because you're not happy. Soul deep level. Let's clear it. So, yeah. Now, but the physical side as well is very important. And, Alwyn says, what if you have many planets and match the person you like? Okay, so everything, yeah, I mean, everything will be reflective, right? If somebody has something to say to you, which is ultimately happening on an energetic level, right? I mean, yeah, there can be so many interpretations, right? But let's clear the energy. 4 of Pentacles of Right, 3 of Pentacles of Right. I'm getting that nothing is necessarily, yeah, okay. 3 of Pentacles is clear. So now another issue, I'm seeing that there's another influence here of why this is troubling is because we're comparing what's going on in this connection with this person to what is happening around the connection. And so much of the way that we interpret what we experience is in terms of the reverberation socially. Like, let's say that you have a connection with somebody and it's really uncomfortable for you, what is going down in that connection. If you were like all alone on an island and it was just you and this person and you were not in society, would it be as triggering? Okay, this is more like maybe a subconscious energy where it's like, okay, well, how are like, you're thinking about how this person maybe is like, whatever's going on. And then you're thinking about, well, how is society, like, how do I now fit into society given what it is that is coming through? So, in my personal connection, which is not the point, society is also reflective. So there, the way that you perceive of yourself in society, you tell people how to see you. Yeah, really, it is like this. So, yeah, so this is another factor. The 3 of Pentacles, the Bright 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Now, so Omo, you still here? So can you tell me more? Like, can you tell me more about like your experience? Like, how long you've been in the so-called dark night of the soul. Tell us more, tell us more here. Let's clear. And so tell us more. And, as Jupiter moves into Pisces, and so many other things, as we have Jupiter in Pisces, as we have Neptune in Pisces, the two rulers of Pisces in its ruling sign, we're really going to be revaluing things, and as a society, we're no longer going to be looking at things as like, wow, is that person like worth something because of where they're at in their career, where they're at in their life, technically, where they're at socially, where they're at physically. It's going to become so much a moment of where do they stand energetically? Are they actually a receptive person to themselves as well? And so, oh, I see, Omo. Now, you have a lot of Pisces in your chart, a lot of Neptune. Omo says, I've known him forever, in and out for 15 years. And then they said, I move on. So do you have a lot of Pisces? You have a lot of water in your chart? So this is where it gets challenging, I feel, because sometimes, if you have a lot of water in your chart, forget just honestly like the twin flame connection, so-called, or the soulmate connection, so-called. Really, with anything, you can be picking up the energy of your freaking neighbor. Let's clear the ground, and you won't even realize it. Okay, because your Pisces North node. Interesting. And so this goes beyond, right? Again, the twin flame, the soulmate. And that's where it's so helpful when people come in and checkmate us again, and they reflect us and they check us with our energies. And that's really what's going on, is they're checking in with us on our energies. When I met this person who was a very strong reflection for me, okay? And not only that, but even before them, I had many experiences, but it kind of lined up and it hit a sort of like plateau, right? That was really helpful, okay, for me, because I got a lot of water in my chart. I'm a Pisces, right? Sun sign in Western, and I have a lot of water overall. My sun sign is Pisces. It is in the house of Cancer/Leo. I have my Mercury in Pisces. I have my rising is Scorpio. I have Pluto on my rising. I have Mars in my 8th house of Scorpio. Okay, my moon is in my first angular house. I have a lot of water in my chart relatively. I have a few grand water trines. Okay, I have my Chiron is in Cancer, my South Node is in Cancer. I got a lot of water going on. And I'm very obviously sensitive. Now, sometimes, and this is normal, and this is part of ascension, is that we don't quite see ourselves as energy. This is the problem, because we're born in society. We're not talking about astrology. We're not talking about what's your birth chart. We're not bringing that conversation up. And the issue is that we're in such a patriarchal society, right? Still, relatively, where we're looking at things as, are you a sensitive person? It's like, no, I'm not just sensitive. Okay, let's get out of that frame of thinking. It's not a personality function and feature. It's an energetic receptivity module. Okay, it's something other than the senses. Okay, it's not the heart. It's not the heart we're talking about when we're a receptive, empathic person. It's in terms of energy. So it's a different discussion. But this will change as society ascends, and as especially Jupiter moves deeper into Pisces and out of what we've been moving through, which was very karmic in Aquarius. And I see that as more, karmic. Well, Aquarius is a yang sign. Okay. So as Jupiter moves back into its home sign of Pisces, which is also especially a yin water sign, this is technically a feminine, right? Polarity. We're not talking gender, just feminine energy. Everybody has it. It doesn't matter about your gender. We're going to be coming back home to this concept of what it means to be receptive. Okay, to be energetically aware, self-aware, and aware of our surroundings, realizing that we are having an energetic conversation in every single moment in time. It's not just, I'm talking about my emotions. Yeah. Okay, I'm being receptive. No. There's so much more going on. And it's not about talking about the emotions, it's about being receptive. So going back to it, right? The question is, okay, that there is so much that we are sensitive to. Now the question is, what do we take on, and how do we do something with that is useful to ourselves and the collective? We are not just sensitive for the sake of being sensitive, to being receptive for the sense of being receptive. We operate within a broader spectrum, energetically, emotionally. There's a network, right, that we're tapped into. We are all empathic. We're all sensitive beings, truly. There's no way that you're going to be born here, okay, on earth and not actually be sensitive. Some people, they are not really as maybe aware naturally, okay? And just because they're not aware doesn't mean that they don't have emotions, okay, that they don't have feelings, okay? It is a matter, though, of also obviously your journey. And some people, whatever it is, when somebody is to awaken to also their light working capabilities, they will. And that's where you can't get overly attached to their experience and their journey and the process of awakening, right? Of awakening. That's where it becomes, yeah. So, but I want to backtrack here and say that that can be really challenging in general when you are, let's say you have, I'm going to break it down as like having a lot of water in your chart. Okay. Because this is the thing that we're talking about, right? I mean, and so personally, let's clear it around. And Omo says, I feel him when he will reach out. And this is the thing. It's not necessarily better to be super sensitive and super aware and that's the trouble with the feminine archetype, is that, oh my god, I always have to be there. I always have to be there for that person, and that means me just absorbing what they're feeling. No, that's the ancient karmic energy where the feminine is dependent on the masculine. Okay. So this is where the feminine, let's clear the energy and ground. No, the feminine energy, okay, is not to just take on. That does not equal the empowered feminine energy. The synergy, sure, is that easier for the masculine archetype to just be like, I'm not going to do the feeling, she's going to do the feeling. That's that ancient archaic energy space we're clearing and purging out. It's a matter, let's clear. It's not about dependence. It's not feminines and females are receptive. It's about receptivity, period. What does that mean? We're integrated. So everything as above, so below, right? Everything as above, so below. Everything is, okay, it's like if I'm feeling you, that means you're feeling me on some level as well, right? And that means I'm reflecting something in you. So yeah, okay. But the challenge is when the feminine is literally taking on the energy rather than reflecting it. And that's the thing that's going to bring balance back to this freaking conversation we're having of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And almost says, I'm tired. You are super tired because you're lit. Yeah. But it's because of the programming energy. And it's because of, we have to get very brave and say, you know what? I'm not going to be taking your energy on that you are not actively showing up with yourself. The feminine, now let me say it like this. How do we say this? Technical men can also be a divine feminine energy. Can you guys give me a quick second here? So-called male, we're talking about just the water element, because it's the easiest way to kind of do it like this. The water element, right? If you're talking about the water element, and let's say we have Bob. Bob has 5 planets in water. Let's say he's got a sun in Cancer, his moon is in Scorpio, his rising is Pisces. God help Bob. Love him light. Let's say, okay, that he's a guy technically in society and he has a lot of water in his chart. Okay, so he can be very, very, very sensitive and receptive. Now, let's say that he meets a technical woman. Let's say she doesn't have so much yin energy in her chart. Let's say that she actually has quite a bit of earth energy. Let's say she's kind of like a tomboy, even, where she's got, this really like kind of, more grounded energy in some ways as well. That's clear. Grounded doesn't mean better, okay? But take it as you will. Now, let's say that, right, they're in a connection and the female, okay, and I'm making this example as, saying that the feminine is the man, because it's a matter of energy, and that's what we're talking about. So he will take on her energy that is feminine. The feminine energy that she is not actively acknowledging. It doesn't mean that she doesn't have that energy, but she's not actively acknowledging it. So what will happen naturally, it's like osmosis. Okay, it's going to flow because the energy doesn't disappear. It will always be. Okay, it will always be. but it's got to go somewhere. So the issue with the divine feminine energy, sometimes it's not in the empowered energy space. Okay, there is a shadow to being too much there and too receptive and too open to this person, in the sense of saying receptive as taking on the energy. You can acknowledge it, but it's your role to say, I'm not going to take it on, though. Okay. Now, and so that's where the feminine is empowered within the landscape of the masculine in a personal way with you. Not like I need them to be like whole and complete with my masculine. No, no. You guys will reflect. Let's clear it. You will reflect the balance of the masculine and feminine with yourselves. So now, here's the thing, though, is that until you really have those boundaries, like you will literally take the energy on, and you may not even know it. You will not realize. And this took a long time for me to realize, guys. It took just because I'm feeling something doesn't mean I need to be receptive to it to take it on. And I can say, no, I don't accept that. That's not a good exchange for me. I don't want to be in a connection where I'm doing all the legwork emotionally. I'm doing all the legwork energetically. Okay. I am the one who's doing all the feeling. The way I know this is I will bump into people who are not in the flow state when it comes to the balance of their masculine or feminine. And it becomes very, very obvious. Okay. Because that energy is still flowing. And I know that it's not my energy, right? So there's an interesting conversation, okay, going on when you're very sensitive. And so, so you have to have like really, really clear boundaries when it comes, and it's not like I'm feeling him. How romantic. It's so good. No. That's telling you that they are literally not aware of their feminine. Now, so when you put boundaries up, what happens? They feel that you're not going to be telling that story for them, that you're not going to be sufficing, okay, that conversation, that you're not going to be them. Because think about it, them running away is also a form of dependency. Not showing up is basically, okay, acknowledging that you're pulling legwork in a certain space. Yeah, and that's the irony. People ghosting people and blocking people and running away and not showing up and all that bullshit is actually, ironically, the flip side. Is them showing up, but just not transparently. Because otherwise, why would you have a problem saying goodbye and saying no and saying, hey, I don't resonate with this, right? So yeah, so you have to flip it and literally kind of just see it as like the person who's not showing you the feminine energy is actually really feeling that energy, but they're not accessing it. Okay, they're not really giving you the space to, bring your story forward as well in a balanced way. And that's where they'll maybe even like kind of frame you as like a very feminine or very, very sensitive person, which is also just not true. Right. But again, it goes back to the ancient Akashic energies, okay, of the, the way the society has been brought up in this patriarchal society. Like, yeah, you're a woman, you got to be super sensitive. It's like, what the fuck is this? No. Okay. But again, the issue with that is that it's not that everyone doesn't have emotion and cannot be receptive, because we are first souls. We're not first our gender. And that is really important to emphasize here. So yeah, I think that's just like part of the story. Right. But it was really important for me to realize that. And obviously it's a legacy energy. You have to look at your history, your past, and say, well, in society, women are carved out, technically so-called like this. That doesn't mean that that's what I feel. And so, yeah, I mean, there are moments though where it will be very, very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And, part of it is, I'm getting this message as well, is that because on some level, right, you're not happy feeling like you are defined by your gender. Okay. On some level, you're not happy feeling like you have to take on, okay. And I'm not talking like consciously, it might be more subconscious, like a latent, okay, psychic realization where you realize, I'm being kind of framed as my gender. Okay. Yeah. But it's indirectly when this person is not willing to feel, but they're not willing to walk away, and they're holding you in that conversation. Let's clear. And they're holding you in the connection still. You can still do something about that by putting the boundaries up and saying, I'm not just going to be purely in my feminine energy space. Let's clear it. And so the uncomfortable thing though is when you feel like you're still doing that though. It's like you're playing along with this little like fairy tale fable. Like, I need to be this little woman. It's like who's just going to be feeling Marcus all all in what he won't feel from me. Let's clear it. And then it gets flipped. And then it gets flipped. And it gets flipped to, okay, you. And the frustration is because it's not even what you're feeling. The way you know that, and the way that I know that, is I never would get stuck on people. That was never an issue for me. Okay? I'm not saying I'm not empathic, I'm not sensitive, but when the soul contract was done, baby, it was done and it was over and I moved on. I'm not the type of person, okay, to be like, oh, they don't want to be with me, like I need to be with them. I'm never like this. But when I met this person who was a very strong reflection, okay, yeah, there was a moment where I'm like, wait, like, well, I've never felt, yeah, but all kinds of things. I was feeling energy in the actual body, blah, blah. So let's clear it. So the point is, and I have another connection that's very strong reflection as well. And honestly, I mean, who knows, yeah, what's what. But the point is that it's just a strong reflection. So, but I noticed that there was this almost imposition, okay, of this energy. And it wasn't me. And I had to get to the point where I was like bawling, crying for this person. And I'm like, what in the hell? This is not my energy. This is not me. I don't need this person in my life to be happy. I don't need them to come back to feel okay about myself. So what's going on here? It's the energy that they're projecting on you. This is what yeah. So that's the irony of the masculine energy that has been in society, that we're talking energy. So when the divine masculine energy cannot fully accept its own feminine, that's when, as a collective, as a feminine energy, we reflect that, we realize, and we think at first it's good that we're taking it on and we're reflecting it for them. No. We have to be the tough teacher and say, you need to do that. Yeah, that's your homework. You got to do it. You got to show up. Okay. And yeah, and it's so, and when you push that weight back, it's like pushing air into another part of the balloon so that you have a more like recognizable character. Yeah, like they need to also be brave. Let's clear it. And they will fight that. Of course they will. Oh no, it's not like, yeah, masculine and blah blah and blah blah and etc. Okay, but even in the sense, let's say, not directly, they may not directly tell you that, but they will see your relationship as the question of balance of feminine and masculine. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. So and so most likely they're involved in such situations where, like maybe they're in a very power, hunger driven, okay, even community, or there will always be some sort of factor. I feel, okay, this is what I would assume, what I would understand naturally to be that, there's going to be some kind of really hyper masculine energy. Okay. And again, I'm not talking gender, but I'm talking just in terms of how it has been in society, in terms of the historical lineage, okay, of the divine masculine, divine feminine. Like there's usually going to be some kind of stigmatic relationship that they have to society that they're depending on. Okay. And so until they release that, this is real talk, guys. Like we just have to really get down to it. Like this is where it's going to get very uncomfortable for them to hide in their career, to hide in their successes, to hide in money, to hide in feeling powerful in society and feeling like they're popular and socially blah, blah. It's like that is going to come crumbling down because it's not an energetic reality. It's not answering your energetic needs as well as a duality, right? A duality, okay, of conversation. So nobody is ever masculine or feminine as well. And that's another conversation. Like, I really feel like that is at the heart of this conversation. Like, why are we being brought up in society as like, honestly, you want the link page here? Here we go. You're talking about the twin flame video. That's the one. Why are we like saying like this is for men and this is for like what? Like, so yeah, I think this is necessary though. And so this happens to be, a way that you're helping the collective society as a whole clear karma when it comes to the theme of gender. And we're all androgynous, whether or not we accept it. Okay. Yeah. Because think about it, why are we so dependent on gender? It's like, what are we hiding behind? Why do we feel that defines anything? Why? Right? I mean, this is really part of the conversation, I think, really. It's not so much about really, yeah. So, and yeah. And I think that's also where we feel uncomfortable is when literally, you've met, I'm sure there are moments where you've met someone and you feel like they're not being true to themselves. It's like they're either acting like very feminine or they're acting like very masculine. And it's not, like you can tell, and it's no problem, but it's just the programmed reaction, you know? Like so but the soul still knows when it's being honest, and so when it is doing things in a way that's programmed, okay, the soul is still feeling. And so, yeah, let's go. Kelly says going to La Isla Bonita. Head over to part one. Yeah, so what else? Let's clear the energy around. And all of this, I mean, this is obvious. We sometimes take it for granted, but I think it's like worth mentioning. We got to say that there's a lot of this like respect question as well. Why would we respect somebody more based on their gender? Like why? But this is a thing. And this also needs to be purged. The power that is associated with the archetype of the masculine or the feminine, no one should be bragging about their, directly or indirectly, their gender. But okay, and this is where actually it's a disservice to the divine masculine energy when someone is observed as having and holding worth based on their gender. This is why it's so like not a good thing when, I mean, let's clear it. This is maybe in like certain cultures or societies, like they really see like men as like more powerful. So okay, this is damaging to them because it's like saying, you're just born into wealth. Oh, you're famous because your mom or dad did so and so. Oh, you're wealthy because like, yeah, you were born into like this kind of family. You're never actually acknowledged as who you are. So this is indirect, like they're not aware of that. But if somebody were born in this society, right, where it's like, oh, I'm a man and I'm like, I'm a king and like all this baloney, love and light. Okay, they're in their heart space. They know that they are not defined. Their greatness is not defined by their gender. So it is truly an unraveling, okay, of their stature emotionally, energetically. Okay, in our heart space, we want to acknowledge that all are one as well. And that is what we're kind of talking about here, with the masculine and the feminine. So you have to have understanding and mercy for these people who are truly having trouble purging these energies, because it's purging. It's just all that it is. They don't actually change. This person doesn't actually like change. They just purge. And what you can do is purge as well. And that's where it's really important to just stay focused on your mission, stay focused on yourself, stay focused on, right? Because it's clear. It's connected, but not dependent. It's reflective, right? It's not like, at least in 3D. Yeah. Sometimes I think you may also be like sometimes ahead of yourself in terms of the like spirituality and in terms of Kelly says peace and quiet. Stop talking now. Let me like, no, but it's so meaningful. Everything is so relevant. Sometimes we are ahead of ourselves, sometimes in terms of the energy, in terms of, so you will be really aware spiritually. And then, like you'll feel like, well, we're technically, but then, yes, it isn't also though, still we have to acknowledge how someone shows up in 3D. Are they fully cognizant of that, and we cannot awaken, we can't force the seed to grow, right? Yeah. And we are nobody's mother. This is also so important. We will never be somebody's mother, right? Feminine does not equate to motherhood energies of, I need to make this person ascend and grow and realize their truth. Okay. That is also another factor here, because that is the issue when we are looking at it as like, it's so good to take on all the responsibility emotionally as this person's caretaker and their mother. Yeah. So and it's, again, like, we cannot demonize the fact that that is sort of a latent energy. It is obviously a historical energy. Like, this is also where it gets very interesting when we're thinking about the role of like children in the ascension process, right? Like, personally, I never really felt that I really wanted to have children, because I know that that's an investment. You're going to invest into that experience. Personally, like, I never really was the type who just like wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, this is just like personally, okay. But because I see that what I do here on planet Earth is in a way, right? If we think about children, it's a seed we're planting. I mean, there's so many reasons also, like, just given what's going on, but you should always teach your personal intuition. But given what's going on in terms of health and the earth itself, it's like, I mean, this is a freaky space. Yeah, I don't know, but personally, like, I wanted to invest in my role as a creator, okay, in many different ways, right? So, but obviously, like, women are associated as the creator in terms of children as well. So that thought mantra, I think, though, and this is why I feel like a lot of light workers are separated physically from people at times, and they don't have sex a lot. This is what I am getting from spirit, that there has been, and that's part of the ascension process, is we're kind of like, how do we say, it's like the evolutionary energies. Okay, we got to purge the deeper, denser frequencies of the role that sex plays in this dimension. So it's kind of like we're releasing more so the survivalist energies associated with, okay, evolution. And so it's really, I'm kind of seeing it as like, the less we use something, the more it becomes not the point, you know? So I don't know, this is just kind of coming through, but you got to always take it as you will. Feel free to share in the chat if this is like something that you share, as you know, as a notion that you do like share, if you believe in that, if you feel that way. But yeah, because like, let's think about sex. Like, what is that? I mean, honestly, you can have physical sex. Like, well, you can have, yeah, I mean, you can have sex like without having sex, right? What is sex? What is going on? What is going on when I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, everything is energetic before it is physical as well. So it's like this whole focus on like sex is really kind of funny and ironic, you know, a little bit when it comes to this like ascension conversation and this process of ascending on earth. Yeah. So I think that there's this push and this going against the so-called, like, there's this push against the grain of, you're a feminine and you're a masculine, like, you need to do this and that. It's like, that's why tantric is so different from like just sex. And honestly, personally, like, I find sex a huge turnoff. I don't know. Like, not for the sake of what it is, but because of what it is like interpreted as in 3D. Like, I don't find this attractive. It's like you're jiggling meat, like meat against meat. It's, I don't know. If there isn't the deeper conversation that's happening with the soul space, okay? So let's clear it. And I think that this is related to the deeper, darker frequency spaces of the root chakra and the survival energies and the, like, let's think about like, what is sex? Like, in the 3D, as it has been for years and years, this is more of like I need to, like, yeah, I mean, it's a reproduction energy, right? Why would we be doing that? If we're thinking of it, because you can look at it in terms of, this is, I think, where spirit is taking, we're ascending as a collective to redefine the paradigm of what sex means and the role of sex. right? And having sex like without really having true like transparency is kind of like having sex with your clothes on. So I think like spirit and as a collective, we are going to be moving into this new way of connecting to people in general because it's going to be a totally different world. Like, should you be two truly open, transparent people, spirits, then you're talking on energy levels, and that's totally different. Yeah, 444 right there on the clock. That's totally different. Yeah. And in a way, maybe it's even kind of, well, dangerous. I mean, you can create shit. We're not talking just children like having sex. We're talking energy. So, and the power of that interaction is protected. I think that's why we're ascending gradually. And that's why we're not being physical with people at times. And that's why we're not, yeah. So, but there is a side. I mean, there is like a side. Yeah. Just as we can say, we could take any planet, it's clear and ground. We could take any planet and say it has a shadow frequency and an empowering light frequency, right? The deeper, denser frequencies of Pluto and the higher spectrum, right? Pluto can be transformation, alchemy. It can also be power play, greed, okay, addictions, these kinds of things. So, yeah, if you're not physical with someone, like there's a reason I think for that, and it's happening on an energetic level. Like the more that you don't give into those deeper frequencies and danker, deeper frequencies of the root chakra, there's something that you're assisting with the collective, okay, when it comes to those energies. Let's clear it. So personally, I just find it like a very like, yeah, it's so now, yeah. So, and yeah, and like when you're having sex or something like this, like it's when somebody is not actually vulnerable and like you can tell, like, I mean, listen, I'm not talking like if they got their legs open or not. I'm talking about vulnerable, like based on the self perspective that they have. Like if they are too invested in their role as a male or as a female, it's kind of, there isn't a full, if there's too much focus on, even the actual body, the body part, like there's yeah, and how do we say this? This reminded me of what came through in the cancer reading, and it can be a metaphor. Yeah. Um, if we are yeah, because you can even have sex, you guys, on astral. I mean, yeah. Sometimes you can have like a more powerful experience on astral than you can when you're actually physically with somebody, right? Let's clear it around. So there's this like funniness to it, and I think spirit, well, I know for myself at least, spirit is like you're not having like any physical experience until this is really a vulnerable connection. And it's because why otherwise? Because what is the purpose? And that's the thing about sex is like, or something like even similar, anything similar is then what is driving you, right? Like, why are you doing that? What is that? What is that? So I think like as a light worker, you're redefining why you do the things you do in general, but also that doesn't, yeah, it's not limited outside of sex. Because yeah, you're creating something. So I want to ask you guys this. How many of you like felt actually like worse after having sex or after having a physical encounter with somebody? Like spirit is saying having sex is not random. It's not a random, yeah. There's something going on there. Like, I think it's yeah, and sometimes it can get very depressing. Like, what's the point of that? You know? It's like almost like you feel kind of gypped or like robbed of something even. But that's it may be because well, yeah, many reasons. Many reasons, but so and I really see this as like as we upgrade physically, we're gonna be like also craving things differently and like looking at just interacting with different phenomenon differently. You know, the role of our body is just different. Interacting with people is different, you know? And that's especially as we purge the societal perspective of like think about why society would be defining what feels good and what's better and how people should be and look and act like this is something so personal. So I think it's going to become more personal. Going to become more energetic. It's going to become more emotional. It's going to become more what do you actually feel? What do you actually extend to that person in that moment, right? It's not what you're wearing. It's not what you look like. It's not this and that. So, and because when you do have sex with somebody, like you're creating something in that moment. Yeah, you are. So think about it. If you were truly like, really like, let's clear it. But it's like you're annoyed because you're not actually creating something with the like you're not really using all your real tokens and currency. So it's like you feel like you're just going to the shop like before you can really afford like the real deal. I don't know. This is a message. Wow, we're really getting out there, Aquarius. I'm hearing Virgo. Let's clear the energy ground. So, like, yes. Mm. This is remind me a little bit of like the Kundalini energy conversation. Yeah, Hannah, the link is right here. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna pin that link. I'm gonna pin the link. Um, you're 19 years old, Paige? Wow. I mean, age doesn't mean anything. That's another thing. Yeah, that's clear, man. Yeah, sober girl. Right, right, right. Yeah. What are they doing out there? You hear that? Supergirl says instant gratification is disappointing. Use your discernment. Yeah. Because I mean, you could be involved in whatever. You could do X, Y, Z. I feel like there's this concept of like self-awareness that comes through when we're talking about something like sex. Let's clear it, or really anything. Like interacting with somebody physically, like why should that be separated? Like if you don't have control of like your lustful energies, like your root chakra is out of control, I mean, you're not, I mean, how can you be happy? How can you be satisfied? And this is a conversation I think that goes back to what we were talking about this like a few months back. Like, I'm sure we've all had those like experiences where it's like, well, everything should technically be making me feel satisfied, but it's not. Like, you're not feeling satisfied physically, right? Which tells you that there's another conversation. Like, there's so much more going on. Like, there's a whole other conversation happening on an energetic level. You know, it's like that the door is not open, but you're banging on it. You're still trying to like enter into the room, but you're not. The door is not open. I don't know what that's alluding to for everybody. So I think a lot of people are honestly, yeah, the more you can take that energy and like re-navigate it. Otherwise, it's like you feel like otherwise you're out of control. Like you don't know what you're creating. Like having like something like even a one night stand or something like this, it's like you're creating something, but you're out of control of that process. Like that is your magical energy. It is, in a way, you know? So in some way, when we're not in control of that process, it's not satisfying. And I think that's why a lot of people have trouble like really enjoying a certain physical experience. You know? I mean, this is coming up. This is a message. Let's clear the energy and ground. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting, guys. Interesting. Diana says, yes, Nat, thank you. I'm just chilling until after these retrogrades. And I'm just like, don't worry, Nat, I'm not going to have sex until after the retrograde. Okay. And I'm super transforming more by the day. Today is super emotional purging. Well, it is a full moon in Cancer. What a username. Aw, thanks for your super chats, guys. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I personally think that this is part of ascension is like not just giving into those energies, and like the longer that you don't really like, because it's a little bit of like a carrot baity situation. I don't know. I mean, you interpret it in your way, but like this is how I see it, you know? It's a programming. And the more that you just get out of that, like, oh my God, like boobs, you know, kind of vibe. Or I don't know, you know, it's just something like what is attraction? What does it mean to resonate with someone? What does it mean to vibe with them? What does it mean to really feel connected to them? What's the purpose of that? You're creating something, right? And if you're not, then what are you doing? Because you're creating something. So if you don't really like really feel connected to the person that you're having sex with on a deeper level, like if you don't know if you can't answer that question of what you're creating with that person, then what is the role of sex? Then why are you doing this? And this sounds like reprimanding, but I'm not. This is your channel message. You know, maybe spirit is saying like if you haven't been physical with someone, then there's a reason for that, right? Sorry guys, we're just typing something here. So let's clear the energy around. That's another thing. Sober girl. Sober girl says, plus, do you really know who they slept with? I mean, there's a whole energetic highway, you know? Yeah. So let's clear the energy and ground. So yeah, a lot happening there. And I think it's like not a bad idea to really think about what it is that you may be exchanging actually, you know? Because when you're physical with someone, right? I mean, they could be kind of having a conversation with you. You're not aware of that. You want to be aware of that. So having sex to have children is like something. Having sex in general is another thing. And again, I think that that's a conversation that is coming up more so, more so as we ascend, where spirit is asking of us to ask that question. Like, I mean, and that's where I'm saying, like, personally, I never felt this like impulse to have children. Like, I never was like, yeah, I want to have children. Like, that's my goal, you know? Um, I don't know why spirit's bringing this up. Um, hmm, interesting. So, yeah, I'm reading the chat. It's interesting. Let's clear it. Like, I'm super careful who I'm physical with, especially after I had my awakening. Yeah, super. It's not that I was really open like that, but super careful. Like, it's like a food, you know? It's like a vitamin. Like, you wouldn't just go and like pop, like, you know, I don't know, iron pills if you were already like, maybe you already have too much iron. How do you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's like kind of like this, like, it's no different really, because especially because when you are physical with somebody, it's like you're exchanging with their energy. So it's like, are they going to give you something you already have too much of? Are they going to, like, you know, yeah. Are they going to take something that you actually need more of? I don't know. This is coming through. So when you're having sex with somebody, it's just like a deeper conversation. And yeah, I'm hearing again that you create in that moment. So you're in control of that process. You shouldn't be feeling like randomly that you want to have sex. This is what I'm hearing. I don't know. Like, that's kind of a different type of sex, maybe. But who am I? I mean, but this is what the spirit guys are saying. You know? Yeah. But that even includes astral. Like, I'm also getting that. Like, yeah, because on astral, it's really no different. If anything, it's more powerful because you are engaging the energy space like so strongly. Um, your thoughts are powerful. So, personally, yeah, I'm like, this is, I think, part of the discussion about the twin flames is that, like, somebody could be pushing you away, ignoring you, right? Like, but they could still be having sex with you on Astral, right? So I want to open this up to the chat, and I first want to just block the trolls and ask you guys, I mean, have you had an experience like that? Because someone could be not brave enough in 3D to show up for you, right? But then they'll still show up, they'll channel that energy on Astral. And that's something I had to have boundaries with as well. Yeah, because let's clear it. You have to be super, like, it's very, very, well, let's clear the energy in the heart chakra. Can you clarify your question, Stormy? Stormy says, how do we stop that? And there needs to be way more exposure to that, because there's some shady going on. So tell us more, Stormy. What do you feel? Like, you feel like, if you feel comfortable. Because no. Personally, I don't think that, I mean, to be in a relationship with somebody and engage in Reiki or tantric energy over a distance and be openly talking to that person about that is one thing. Ignoring someone, running from somebody, and still engaging on Astral sexually is another thing. And it, honestly, personally, I think it's not appropriate, but you take it as you will. Personally, having boundaries in that space is really, really important when it comes to protecting your energy field. Because who is to say that I mean, somebody can completely be like, somebody could be ignoring you. You can't hear me? Can you hear me? Somebody could be ignoring you. Hello? Can you guys hear me? Somebody could be ignoring you. Somebody could be ignoring you, but then still like showing up. And that's a lot of this issue. Okay, this is a lot of this issue is because then yeah. So it's coming indirectly. It's coming indirectly. Yeah, and I just don't think that that's appropriate, because then that messes with you. Then you're like, wait, I feel this yeah, let's clear the engine ground. Like, no, 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 no. So personally, like, yeah, and sex is very powerful. And so when somebody is like wanting to connect with you, but they won't show up in 3D, and then they're trying to like have sex with you on Astral to still connect to you, that's dangerous. That's the dangerous part of the connection, because first of all, that's also like you're going through all, I mean, why are you doing that? Why are you going through it's like, meet me at the alley? It's like, what the fuck? No, show up, because the longer that you allow, that's still like you're keeping the line open with them. So I would just be careful with Astral sex. This is just a message, but maybe come through. You know, your sexuality, your energies in general is like sacred. You know, consider it as that. And I'm hearing specifically like try to identify what it is that you know that energy leads to. Let's clear it, because it's not random, you know. So and let's get honest, it's not even sex, it's even just thinking about somebody, you know. That's why, like, you could have a conversation with someone and then you leave that convo and you're feeling ick, you're feeling gross, you're not feeling good, you know, you're not happy even. right? Because it's just the exchange. So I think, like, honestly, like, just interacting with people is a pseudo form of sex. And yeah, thoughts are also relevant. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Anything else? It's clear. So what I would recommend in general is just having really good grounding techniques. You want to ground. Um, yeah. Because if someone's having astral sex with you, you could be taking on their energy. So yeah, just be really, really aware there. Love and light, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next video. See you guys. Bye.